While dogs are often called man's best friend, there's a whole side of them we rarely get to see. Some of these breeds were worshipped by empires, others nearly vanished forever, and a few are so unique they barely feel real. From hairless wonders to yodeling hunters, we're diving into 20 dogs that are born only once in 1,000 years. Number 20. Tibetan Mastiff. If there were ever a breed that could be mistaken for a mythical creature guarding the gates of a forgotten temple, it's the Tibetan Mastiff. Bred by nomadic cultures of Tibet, China, Nepal, and India, the Tibetan Mastiff was originally used to protect sheep from predators like wolves, leopards, and even bears. And looking at them, you'll quickly see why no predator would dare cross one. With their thick double coat, voluminous mane, and powerful frame, Tibetan Mastiffs look more like lions than domestic pets. Their size alone is enough to make people second-guess their life choices. Males can weigh up to 150 pounds and stand as tall as 33 inches. But it's not just their intimidating looks that make them fascinating. It's how they're built for survival. Genetically, Tibetan Mastiffs are equipped with unique high-altitude adaptations. Scientists have identified a mutation in their gene, the same one found in Tibetan humans, which allows them to use oxygen at high elevations efficiently. This adaptation is rare in other dog breeds, making them true mountain-born survivors. From mythic guardians of the mountains, we now take an evolutionary turn to a dog that's not just rare, but evolution's version of a cheat code. Number 19. Norwegian Lundahund. Has 6 toes per paw, weighs only 20 pounds, can fold its ears shut, and bend its neck backward. Literally a biological glitch. Meet the Norwegian Lundahund, a breed so unique you'd think nature forgot to follow its own rules. Hailing from the remote and rocky islands of Norway, this dog was bred for a very specific job: hunting puffins. To do that, Lundahund had to undergo some serious hardware upgrades. For starters, it has 6 toes on each foot, not just for show, but for function. These extra toes give the dog an unmatched grip on slippery vertical rock faces. Next up, the Lundahund's spine and neck. This breed can bend its head backward to touch its spine, a contortionist move that would put yoga instructors to shame. This extreme flexibility allows them to twist and turn inside tight, narrow puffin nests buried in rocky crevices. As if that wasn't enough, they also have the ability to close their ear canals at will. This helps them block out debris and water while squeezing through tunnels or diving into wet terrain. But there's a catch. This breed's uniqueness has come at a cost. Due to a small gene pool and historical isolation, Lundahoons suffer from a hereditary condition called Lundahund syndrome, a digestive disorder that can be difficult to manage. In the 1940s, the breed nearly went extinct during World War II when only a handful survived. So we've gone from a lion-like mountain guardian to a puffin-hunting acrobat. But if you think we've reached peak rarity, think again. Our next dog doesn't bark, it sings. Number 18. New Guinea Singing Dog. Imagine hiking in the highlands of Papua New Guinea and hearing a melodic, haunting howl rise from the forest. That wouldn't be a bird or a wolf. It might just be the New Guinea Singing Dog, one of the rarest and most mysterious canines on Earth. For decades, these dogs were thought to be extinct in the wild, known only from a few individuals kept in captivity. But in 2020, a small population was rediscovered, alive and well, in the remote highlands. The breed gets its name from its unique vocalizations. Unlike any other dog, its howl can include harmonic overtones, creating a melody that's more like a whale song than a typical canine bark. Weighing almost 30 pounds, they live in dense mountain forests, where visibility is low. Here, these sound patterns may help the dogs communicate across long distances with precision. However, this breed has remained genetically isolated, which means it carries markers of ancient canine ancestry rarely seen in modern domestic breeds. While the next breed doesn't sing, it struts, with the poise and presence of a runway model. Number 17. Azawok. The Azawok is an ancient sighthound from West Africa with a regal vibe and skin-thin elegance. If a runway model and a cheetah had a dog baby, it'd probably be this breed. Hailing from the Sahel region of West Africa, specifically Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, this dog is the definition of grace under pressure. Tall, slender, and impossibly lean, the Azawok is all legs and angles. What makes them especially fascinating isn't just their aesthetics. Yes, they look like they were carved out of wind, but their biology is even more unique. Unlike many sighthounds bred in Europe, the Azawok evolved in harsh desert climates and shows remarkable thermoregulation capabilities. Weighing almost 55 pounds on average, their short coat and minimal body fat allow them to release heat quickly, a necessity in triple-digit temperatures. Scientists studying these dogs have noted how their vascular system seems adapted for cooling, similar to what we observe in camels and desert antelopes. They're also one of the few sighthounds used by nomadic peoples not just for hunting, but for guarding livestock and even homes. Moving on from the wind-sculpted elegance of West Africa, let's look at another downright peculiar breed. Ever seen a dog with a split nose? And no, it's not Photoshop. Number 16. Catalarin. This Turkish hunting dog has a split nose. Yes, two nostrils split in the middle. The Catalarin is Turkey's most bizarrely brilliant contribution to the canine world. The name literally means fork nose, and for good reason. This dog's nasal structure is divided, giving it the appearance of having two separate snouts. This unusual feature may have evolved to increase olfactory surface area, which would give it an enhanced sense of smell, something highly useful in tracking game across rural terrain. Though there's no official scientific consensus on whether the split nose significantly improves scent detection, Turkish hunters have long believed that the Catalarin is one of the best scent-tracking breeds in existence. And hey, tradition sometimes knows what it's doing. Weighing 45 to 65 pounds, this breed is incredibly rare even in its homeland. Most Catalarin dogs are concentrated in the Tarsus region of southern Turkey, and due to generations of isolated breeding, they've developed several unique genetic traits, but not all of them are good. The population's low genetic diversity has led to increased risk for some hereditary health issues, including hip dysplasia and reproductive problems. But the next dog is surprisingly sturdy and is officially recognized as a national treasure. Number 15. Thai Ridgeback. Sleek, deadly smart, and with a natural ridge of fur that runs in reverse, this dog is super rare outside Thailand. If you've never heard of the Thai Ridgeback, that's because this breed has been quietly existing under the radar for centuries, loyal only to the people of Thailand and largely unknown to the rest of the world until the last few decades. This dog is a genetic cousin to the more well-known Rhodesian Ridgeback, but it comes with a Southeast Asian twist. Its most recognizable feature? A ridge of hair along its spine that grows in the opposite direction. Scientists studying Ridgeback genetics have suggested that its genes could be linked to neural crest development during embryogenesis. The Thai Ridgeback was originally used for guarding homes, pulling carts, and hunting snakes and wild boars. Their sharp instincts and independent thinking make them formidable protectors, but also tough to train. They're intelligent and headstrong and often choose when they want to listen. Outside Thailand, they're still considered extremely rare. Just be ready to earn their respect. This is not a lapdog. The next breed trades its muscle for multitasking, and it's anything but ordinary. Number 14. Moody. The Moody may sound like it's named after a temperamental artist, but this Hungarian herding dog is all action, no drama. Compact, curly-coated, and hyper-intelligent, the Moody is like the overachiever in every group project. Bred to work on farms in Hungary, the Moody is part of a trio of Hungarian herding breeds, alongside the Puli and Pumi. But while those two tend to get more attention, the Moody is the hidden gem. Weighing only 25 pounds on average, it's still prized for its versatility and ability to herd sheep, cattle, and even pigs, while also excelling in agility, obedience, and protection. Researchers have also found that herding breeds like the Moody possess a gene that is associated with attention and trainability. Essentially, this dog was born to multitask with precision. Its reflexes are off the charts, with some Moodies able to change direction mid-air while herding livestock. They also have what behaviorists call soft eyes, meaning they're highly attuned to human cues and expressions. That makes them fantastic companions for those who want a dog that's not just smart, but deeply emotionally responsive. Next up, we're heading into gourmet territory. Because this dog doesn't chase sheep, it chases delicacies worth more than gold. Number 13. Legato Romanolo. If you've ever had truffle pasta and wondered how those earthy nuggets of culinary magic were found, you might owe your dinner to a Legato Romanolo. This Italian breed is the world's only specialized truffle hunting dog, trained for sniffing out fungi buried deep underground, and doing it with flair. Originally bred as a water retriever in the marshlands of Romagna, Italy, the Legato adapted as wetlands dried up, transitioning into truffle detection work. And it excels. These dogs have hyper-developed olfactory receptors. We're talking around 220 million scent cells, compared to a human's measly 5 million. Scientists have studied their brains via MRI and confirmed that truffle scent stimuli activate unusually strong neural responses in Legatos, more than in other breeds. They look like living stuffed animals, but don't let the cuteness fool you. These dogs have an insane drive. One fun twist: while pigs were traditionally used for truffle hunting, Legatos don't eat the truffles once they find them, a major upgrade when your product is worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars per ounce. They're friendly, easygoing, and deeply intuitive, but if they don't get enough stimulation, they'll happily dig up your backyard. So unless you're into accidental landscaping, give that nose a job to do. Now, while the Legato works with its nose, the next breed made history by making everything else disappear: fur, warmth, and at times, barking. Number 12. Zoloitz Quintley. Pronounced Zoloitz Quintley, the Zoloitz Quintley is more than a dog. It's a walking, tail-wagging artifact. Revered by the Aztecs, Toltecs, and Maya, the Zolo was considered a spiritual guide, often buried alongside its owner to help lead their soul into the afterlife. The breed comes in 3 sizes: toy, miniature, and standard, with the standard weighing almost 50 pounds, and in both hairless and coated varieties. But it's the hairless version that draws the most attention. Genetically, this trait is caused by a mutation that affects both hair and teeth development. Zolos often have missing molars or oddly shaped canines. And don't assume the hairless coat makes them low maintenance. Without fur, Zolos are vulnerable to sunburn, require regular bathing to prevent clogged pores, and need jackets in colder climates. What they lack in fluff, they make up for in warmth, literally. Their skin is hot to the touch. Historically, Zolos were used as living heating pads for ailments like arthritis and abdominal pain. Their high body temperature has earned them the nickname healing dog, although science hasn't confirmed any magical benefits yet. Zolos are known to be silent watchdogs, alerting owners with posture rather than barking. That said, they're not shy when it comes to loyalty. They tend to bond deeply with 1 or 2 people and remain protective and affectionate for life. And if you think divine purpose is impressive, wait till you meet a breed that was engineered to outswim, outsniff, and outbark just about anything in its path. Number 11. Otter Hound. If you crossed a shaggy bear rug with a competitive swimmer and gave it a nose that could track a scent across 3 counties, you'd have the Otter Hound. This big-boned, good-natured breed was built for one job: otter hunting. Back when rivers in medieval England were teeming with fish-stealing otters, these dogs were deployed to protect the fisheries. Today, they're rarer than some wild animals. Fewer than 800 exist worldwide, making them one of the most endangered dog breeds on the planet. Everything about the Otter Hound's body is designed for water. Their large, webbed feet help them paddle like canine kayaks, and their rough double coat repels moisture, similar to how otters' fur traps air to keep them buoyant. Their massive, deep chest gives them strong lung capacity, letting them swim for long stretches without tiring. And their noses? Off the charts. Otter Hounds have one of the most sensitive olfactory systems among hound breeds, with over 220 million scent receptors, about 44 times more than the average human. Scientifically, they also possess a highly developed Jacobson's organ, located in the nasal cavity, which enhances their ability to detect pheromones and chemical traces in the environment. This is what makes them masters of scent trailing. Weighing almost 110 pounds, they're goofy, affectionate, and endlessly curious. But they're also loud, very loud. Otter hounds have deep, echoing voices and will use them liberally, especially if they catch a whiff of something fascinating. Despite their declining numbers, dedicated breed enthusiasts are working to preserve these water-loving weirdos. And for good reason. How often do you meet a dog that's half hound, half diver, and full-on lovable mess? Now, from the riverbanks of Britain, let's head to Spain for a dog even more bizarre. If you thought one nose was enough, get ready to double down. Number 10. Pchon Navaro. Yes, the Pchon Navaro is real. And yes, it has a split nose. Known as a double-nosed pointer, this Spanish hunting dog has a facial feature that looks like something from a fantasy novel, but it's all natural. And while it might seem like a fluke of genetics, there's actually science behind it. Historically bred in the Navarre region of northern Spain, the Pchon Navaro has been around since at least the 13th century. Weighing roughly 66 pounds, it was especially favored for upland bird hunting, where its keen sense of smell and stoic pointing skills made it an elite field companion. The double nose is technically a nasal cleft, a congenital condition where the nose is split by a furrow or groove. So, does it improve scent detection? While the science is still debated, some believe the split increases the dog's nasal surface area, possibly giving it an edge when scenting small game across rugged terrain. Beyond the snout, this breed is a classic gun dog, loyal, driven, and methodical. They're calm indoors and focused in the field, making them a versatile addition to working households. Due to modernization and a decline in traditional hunting practices, the breed almost disappeared. But thanks to a recent revival movement in Spain, they're now being reintroduced and bred responsibly by enthusiasts who want to keep this peculiar piece of dog history alive. But our next dog comes not from obscurity, but straight from the annals of mythology. And it just might be the only dog that literally blushes. Number 9. Pharaoh Hound. The Pharaoh Hound is one of those dogs that actually looks like it lived royalty. With its fine bone structure, amber eyes, and sleek, aerodynamic frame, it could easily pass as a sculpture from ancient Egypt. And for centuries, people believed that was exactly the case. Although modern DNA testing has shown that Pharaoh Hounds aren't direct descendants of the dogs depicted in ancient Egyptian tomb art, their resemblance is uncanny. Today, we know that this breed likely developed on the island of Malta, where it was used for rabbit hunting and is known as the Kelb Tal Fennec. But here's where it gets weird. Pharaoh Hounds actually blush. When they're happy or excited, their ears and noses flush with a rosy pink hue. This is due to a high concentration of capillaries near the surface of their skin, which dilate with increased blood flow. Weighing almost 50 pounds, Pharaoh Hounds are sight hounds, meaning their hunting style relies on acute vision and rapid bursts of speed rather than scent. Their long limbs and narrow waists are perfectly designed for explosive acceleration, like a greyhound, but with more attitude. They can be aloof with strangers, and like many sighthounds, they're known for having a selective hearing problem, especially if a squirrel darts across the yard. Just don't let them off leash unless you want a mile-long cardio session. And what's coming next isn't flashy, but it might just be the most quietly devoted companion you've never heard of. Number 8. Peruvian Inca Orchid. The Peruvian Inca orchid has roots stretching back to ancient Peru, where it was revered by pre-Columbian civilizations such as the Moche, Chimu, and Inca. You'll even spot them in pottery and textiles from thousands of years ago. The most obvious feature? No fur. But this isn't just a style choice. It's a genetic mutation. The mutation also affects dentition, which is why many Peruvian Inca orchids are missing premolars or have oddly spaced teeth. But here's the trade-off. Fewer fleas, less shedding, and less dog hair in your soup, but more skincare. Their exposed skin is susceptible to sunburn, dryness, and temperature sensitivity. Owners have to treat them like skincare influencers. Sunscreen in the summer, moisturizers in dry weather, and probably a wardrobe of stylish sweaters for cooler climates. Despite their fragile look, these dogs are athletic and agile, originally used for both companionship and as alert watchdogs. Their nervous system is wired to be highly responsive to environmental stimuli, making them attentive, but also prone to anxiety if overstimulated or under-socialized. Weighing only 50 pounds, their lean frames, bat-like ears, and often wrinkled brows aren't considered conventionally cute, but they are undeniably striking. Now, from the high desert of Peru to the flat, damp landscapes of the Netherlands, we move to a dog that's all utility, but with a heart of gold. Number 7. Stabby Hoon. This Dutch multitasker is so rare that even most Dutch folks haven't seen one. Meet the Stabby Hoon, one of the world's rarest working dogs, and possibly the Netherlands' best-kept secret. Bred in the Frisian region of the Netherlands, this breed was designed to do everything a humble farm family might need: point, retrieve, guard, and snuggle. Unlike more specialized dogs that do one thing exceptionally well, the Stabby Hoon is the canine version of a Swiss Army knife. Weighing almost 50 pounds, it's classified as a versatile hunting dog, but it also excels at agility, obedience, and even search and rescue. It looks like a black and white spaniel with soft, feathered fur and kind eyes. It has a water-repellent coat and webbed feet, which made it especially valuable for retrieving game from the damp Dutch countryside. Its sense of smell is acute, but balanced, not as overpowering as a scent hound, yet sharp enough for serious tracking work. What makes it especially endearing is its temperament. Gentle, patient, and not prone to barking unless necessary, the Stabby Hoon is the kind of dog that makes you wonder why everyone doesn't have one, until you remember they're super rare, with only a few thousand worldwide and strict breeding practices to preserve their health and temperament. Their rarity isn't from obscurity, it's from careful conservation. The Netherlands has strict guidelines to avoid overbreeding or genetic bottlenecks. And now, from Dutch farm versatility, let's head into snowier terrain to meet a dog built for sleds and nearly lost to history. Number 6. Chinook. The official state dog of New Hampshire, once built for sledding through harsh winters, almost disappeared entirely after the World War era. The Chinook is proof that sometimes a dog doesn't just survive history, it helps write it. Bred in the early 1900s by Arthur Treadwell Walden in New Hampshire, the Chinook was born to be the perfect sled dog, strong, fast, and gentle. Weighing almost 90 pounds, its ancestry includes Mastiff, Husky, and German Shepherd, creating a powerful yet even-tempered working dog that thrived in the harsh winters of New England. Named after Walden's lead sled dog Chinook, this breed was used during polar expeditions, most famously in Admiral Byrd's Antarctic mission in the 1920s. They have excellent endurance, well-developed hindquarters for propulsion, and a thick double coat that's not too dense, which helps them stay agile in both cold and slightly warmer environments. Unlike some high-energy sled dogs, the Chinook is known for its gentle demeanor, making it one of the few working dogs that also thrives in a family setting. They're fantastic with children, eager to please, and emotionally in tune with their humans, thanks to a well-developed limbic system associated with emotional bonding and memory. The next dog trades barking for yodels, but don't let the quiet fool you. The Bassenji rewrites everything you thought you knew about dogs. Number 5. Bassenji. At first glance, the Bassenji looks like a minimalist designer's take on a fox. Compact, graceful, with a tightly curled tail, and fur so sleek it could pass for polished wood. But once you realize it doesn't bark, it yodels. You'll know you're dealing with something ancient and extraordinary. Originating from Central Africa, the Bassenji has been around for thousands of years. They were bred by the Congo people for hunting, using their sharp eyesight and uncanny stealth to chase small game into nets. But what about that yodel, known as a baru? This vocalization is due to the unique shape of the Bassenji's larynx, which prevents it from producing the standard barking sound. Weighing only 24 pounds, Bassenjis are also famous for their cat-like cleanliness and independence. They groom themselves obsessively, rarely have that dog smell, and tend to be quiet, curious, and stubborn. Their intelligence is less about obedience and more about problem solving. Good luck getting one to play fetch without a compelling argument. Moving on to our next rare breed, we have a Dutch comeback story with feathered flair. Number 4. Kuer Hanja. The Kuer Hanja might look like a cuddly sidekick from a medieval fairy tale. Originating in the Netherlands, this 30-pound small spaniel-type breed was bred for a very specific task: luring ducks into traps. Using their flashy white-tipped tails and sprightly movement, Kuer Hanjas were trained to attract ducks toward canals or cages in a process called kuyen, hence the name. Hunters would sit quietly as the dog danced its tail like a feathered metronome, mesmerizing ducks into following them straight to capture. After nearly going extinct during World War II, only a handful remained. A concentrated breeding effort led by Dutch Baroness van Hardenbroek in the 1940s saved the breed, but it remains rare outside the Netherlands even today. Personality-wise, the Kuer Hanja is upbeat, loyal, and deeply people-oriented. They're incredibly trainable, sharp-eyed, and gentle with children, though they retain a slightly watchdog edge when it comes to strangers. But if the Dutch duck charmer is playful and mild, the next dog on our list is all mystique and muscle, from the dunes and deserts of North Africa. Number 3. Sloki. With its long limbs, slender build, and regal posture, the Sloki doesn't just look like royalty, it is royalty, especially in its native North Africa. For centuries, it was the prized companion of Berber tribes and nomadic desert dwellers, valued for both its hunting skills and dignified temperament. As a sighthound, the Sloki was bred to chase down fast, agile prey such as hare, fox, and even gazelle. These dogs rely heavily on acute long-distance vision, with large, forward-facing eyes that give them excellent depth perception and a broad field of view. It's a living thread to North Africa's past, with some Slokis still used today in traditional hunting practices. Temperamentally, the breed is aloof, loyal, and sensitive. They form intense bonds with their families, but don't expect them to charm every stranger at the dog park. Weighing almost 60 pounds, they're elegant, clean, and rarely bark. But they require mental engagement and lots of space to move. Because of geopolitical restrictions and strict breeding customs, the Sloki remains incredibly rare outside Morocco and Algeria. Moving to the misty jungles of Malaysia, the next dog we're going to meet is a little-known climber with instincts like a wildcat. Number 2. Telomoian. The Telomoian is so rare, most people, including seasoned dog lovers, have never heard of it. Native to peninsular Malaysia, this breed was developed by indigenous Orang Asli tribes and evolved in a very unusual environment: stilted huts in dense jungle terrain. That's right, these dogs climb ladders. Weighing only 18 pounds, Telomoians developed enhanced limb flexibility, highly mobile joints, and strong curved claws, traits often seen in tree-dwelling animals. Scientists studying their biomechanics noted their remarkable coordination and agility, which are more akin to cats or raccoons than to traditional domestic dogs. They were used primarily for pest control, keeping rats and snakes at bay, while also acting as watchdogs for remote village homes. Because of their isolation, Telomoians have a genetically unique profile, with very little crossbreeding from outside populations. They're incredibly intelligent, wary of strangers, and fiercely bonded to their people. While they're still considered semi-wild in some areas, a few have made their way to the West via academic exchange programs and cultural preservation efforts. But with our next dog, we return to the mountains where survival, loyalty, and duty are built into the bones. Number 1. Bakarwal Dog. The Bakarwal Dog isn't here for belly rubs. It was bred by the Gujar and Bakarwal tribes of the Indian Himalayas to do one thing: guard. Massive, imposing, and cloaked in thick, weatherproof fur, the Bakarwal resembles a shaggy bear more than a typical dog. Weighing almost 130 pounds, its bone structure is dense, its jaws are strong, and its body is biomechanically built for endurance, allowing it to patrol for miles at high altitudes without tiring. The breed's adaptations to low-oxygen environments mirror those seen in other highland dogs like the Tibetan Mastiff. an indicator of convergent evolution in mountain survival. They're intensely territorial and form strong hierarchies within family units. They've been known to make judgment calls independently, deciding who can enter and who can't, without waiting for human input. Despite their immense value to nomadic communities, the breed faces serious threats: displacement due to modernization, conflict zones, and shrinking pastoral cultures. But among the Gujars and shepherds who still move seasonally with their herds, the Bakarwal is a symbol of protection, resilience, and ancestral strength. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.